everybody. I'm Scotty J. Welcome back to Rock Titan Live. Got an awesome guest with us right now. As a matter of fact, we had this man on like 4 years ago. Very hard to believe it's been that long. But he is still making amazing music, and I'm still here to make sure guys like Mr. Carl Canedy are featured. Legendary drummer from the Rods, and he's got his solo project, Canedy, which we're going to be talking about because they just released some digital files the other day, and it's going to be coming out on hard copy August 7th, and it's called Warrior. And it's awesome. I've heard the whole thing, and I can't wait to talk to Carl about it. Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Scott. Great to be back on and, sitting in my little sanctuary here this time. But I think I was in my vehicle last time I did this.
Yeah, it was funny. You had people walking by. They're like all looking in at you. You know, it's like being at the zoo, and they're all, treating you like you're an exhibit.
I feel that way always because people are always giving me that second glance. What? Who's that? What's that guy about? So I'm used to that. But yes, good to be back here. It's a little quieter now.
Yeah, and I have a different studio now as well. We got the different setup. I got my desk and
got
cool
your green
backdrop
screen?
and lights and everything like that. Although everyone's going to see the Warrior album cover, and for everyone that's watching right now, the screen is actually green. But we're rocking the Warrior album cover, and like I said, so I guess a little over a week ago, this new music of yours. And new entourage, I guess, too, for that matter, of guys that you've assembled, which I definitely want to talk about that story. So it just came out digitally a little over a week ago, I guess, but then it's going to come out on, what, CD? Are you putting it out as vinyl as well?
Vinyl as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, love vinyl, man. That's awesome. So,
Eric Philippe's done the artwork, and Sleazy Rider is producing, and they did the St. James album for me, and they did a killer job on the packaging, and that was critical for me because you hate to put out a great product with something you're proud of and then have it be a crappy piece of vinyl in somebody's hand or a CD. So Eric Philippe is doing the packaging again, and they use top quality reproduction, so I'm excited.
Okay, yeah, now that's awesome. Now, as far as this lineup that you're playing with Canedy right now, I thought it was really cool how this came together. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it all came about because I guess these guys that you were already familiar with, they had their drummer bow out on like a TV show that they were getting ready to do, right. And they give you a jingle and you bail them out.
Yes, I played Tony, the bass player, in Canedy. We play in an 8-piece horn band here in Scranton in this area. And so Tony joined that band about 6 years ago. I've been with Jeffrey James for 22 years. And, of course, we have a fill-in drummer when I go on tour, but I play when I'm back here, and as does Tony. And Tony had this band TLC with Mike and Charlie, and they were doing this TV show. And whatever happened, I don't know whether the drummer had a spinal tap issue or whatever, but he was unable to make it. And no, I'm kidding. I think he had job commitments. He's a good guy. And so they asked me to step in. And it went so well that we continued on and just started writing. It was a very organic thing. For me, it was great because I've been looking for musicians in this area who were serious about writing a material and that, were like-minded. And it's not easy to find. There's a great music scene in Scranton area, but I just wasn't coming in touch with these people. I was trying, and I would find people, and it just wasn't working. And this was, these guys have been together, so they're great songwriters, and on their own, they're used to working with each other. And, it was a little learning curve with all of us, with me, with them, and I think it was for the better. I think we came up with something really great in this album. I'm proud of it,
As you should be, yeah, because I'm like listening to the last, the Rods album, and I'm listening to this. I'm like, whew, man. Carl's got his hands full, man. This is some good stuff. Like, for you personally, how much gratification do you take out of, being able to play music, with different groups of guys like that, where you have the Rods that you've been with forever, which, it really has an established reputation versus, what you're doing, with your solo project?
Well, the Rods, David and I celebrated 40 years together this year.
You're not old enough, man.
It is unbelievable. 40 years. I can't believe it. And I can't believe that I've tolerated that guy for 40 years. Unbelievable. No.
That's funny.
No, I'm always the intense one in the bands. I'm always the one who's like, we got to do it this way. We got to try this. We got to. I'm always pushing. So I'm the guy who's the thorn in everybody's side. But yeah, no, 40 years was amazing. But the difference is the rods, as you said, we're established, and this last album, Brotherhood of Metal, has done incredibly well for the rods.
Good.
This project is a band, and that was different from my first album, which was just about my songwriting. But this is a band. I contributed very, very little to the songwriting, which was, these guys are so talented, and so it was a joy to work with them, and I'm really proud of it as a band. But the difference is, we need, like, you're supporting us, and that's so important, because whatever I have in the Rods project, which is a well-known entity, Canedy is unknown. Canedy as a band, nobody knows. And so we're starting as a baby band from the ground up as older guys, kicking ass and writing great stuff, but we're still an unknown commodity. So I'm hoping that we're going to get I'm working on it now. I'm trying to lay the groundwork for whenever this whole pandemic comes to an end, or to a manageable situation, that we can start doing dates, not just here, which we've already planned to do, but in Europe as well, and hopefully maybe Japan. But, it's not easy as basically a brand new band.
Yeah, no, right on. But you guys you just signed with a label, did you not?
We did. We signed with Sleazy Rider, a Greek label, and I'd worked with them on the St. James album, and they had done just a killer job, high quality reproducing, and great vinyl and great packaging. And Eric Philippe, who did the artwork for Canedy, which you can see right behind you,
Yeah, yeah.
is just a great artist. And Eric's been friend and artist on almost everything I've done in the last 12 years, I think.
Oh, cool.
So Metalangelo is my nickname for him. He just does great work.
Nice.
But he's doing the packaging for the Canedy album, and I'm really glad about that.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, you were just saying that you didn't have a whole lot in part of, like, lyrically, with the songwriting and whatnot, with Warrior. Is that correct?
Correct. Mike and Tony are the lyricists in the band.
Okay.
So.
All right. I loved, and we were talking a little bit, before we formally kicked things off here. And again, everybody, I'm here with the iconic, legendary Carl Canedy. And many drummers out there, I'm sure you have influenced many, 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 many. And so I noticed that there was like a diverse storyline, with this particular album, which I really, really dug. And the sound quality, just the overall production, like you just said, I mean, it's really, really solid. And I like how this is a little different. Like, some albums with a lot of artists I've spoken to recently, it's like a story from top to bottom. From the first track all the way through the end. It is one consistent storyline. Where this is different. You've got different messages in this one. Some which talk on, like, old epic battles, a little bit of, God versus the devil. But a couple that really struck me, especially because, we're artists, in various different ways. The Prize. I love The Prize. About never giving up on your dreams, staying true to yourself, and just doing it. And obviously, you've been able to live it. Like you said, the Rod's 40 years. Oh my God. That's crazy. And here I am 4 years later after our first conversation. So, that's one thing. So I love that.
I think with this, you have, Mike, who is basically a philosopher, has a great take on a lot of different things. And you have Tony, our bass player, and also sings Hell Ride and is a great singer in his own right. Much different from Mike, but great singer nonetheless. Tony is a disciple of Roman history, so Tony brings that to the table as well. And then when he and Mike collaborate on those ideas, Mike expands upon Tony's ideas, and it's really synergistic. And I think that's why we have that. And I love Mike's messages because he's has a great way of phrasing his lyrics and getting the message across.
Well, the vocals are absolutely incredible. I'm listening to this, and just the guitar and the vocals and the bass, everything. I'm like, wow, these guys are like, I mean, to your point that you made a little while ago, yeah, I mean, you're kind of like a baby band in that, you haven't been around that long as an entity, But good God, you'd never know it. I mean, by listening to you guys, you'd think you were like well seasoned, world traveling, touring
Hmm.
nonstop. I mean, literally. I mean, that's the feel you get. So everybody, go check out Warrior. You can get it digitally right now. Hard copy is going to be out August 7th. It's freaking awesome. One of the other songs that I thought was just wild, is so prophetic because obviously you wrote this before the whole coronavirus pandemic broke out and everything like that. And I'm talking about Lies. And
Hmm.
wow, I mean, it's so amazing how in tune you musicians all seem to be with like, what's coming down the pike. It may not be happening right now, but it's like, I've spoken to a few other musicians with new albums coming out and they've got this like one track, on the album, which is like talking about what we're dealing with in this pandemic right now. And you were just telling me a little while ago, some people, they just don't respect your space, depending on
Yes.
what's going on. I mean, it's crazy. Lies would you agree that it is very kind of, mm, I don't necessarily want to say prophetic, even though it necessarily was, but very in tune, with what's
Timely.
going on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, I think Mike's a philosophical, insightful guy, and I think he nailed it on this song. And
Yeah.
I think back to your other point, like these guys being great. They're great musicians. Charlie has written one or two books. I have to actually ask him if he's written the second book. But he's a GIT grad. He's a brilliant guitarist. He's a great arranger, but he orchestrates his parts beautifully.
Mm.
And so he's really a master at that. And Tony is we laugh about Tony because when Tony was a kid, he got a Black Sabbath album, and he went into a parallel universe where he doesn't know anything that's popular music. He only is known heavy music. And of course, these guys have an album, two CDs released. They did albums under the Totally Lost Cause for their band, and Heaven and Hell is re-releasing those albums. So these guys had been writing original material forever, and they also had another band called Bare Knuckle. I don't know if that album is going to surface soon, but so they have been working together. And then it took us quite a while to write. We would get together at a recording studio once a week, and at least a couple times a month, and that's how we wrote the album. And I think that was what forged us as a band to become a cohesive unit, because we didn't get to tour a lot, but we did play as a band a lot of time, a lot of hours, and I think that just gave us, so we were cohesive as a band at that point. So a year later, we're like, okay, this is a band now, which
Okay.
is great for me because I'm thrilled about it.
Right on. Yeah, no, as you should be. Now, one of the things I think is really cool about you, Carl, is that not only are you a world-renowned drummer, but for people outside the music industry, maybe they don't know that you are also a very well-established producer as well. Did you, and you've produced, some of the most legendary bands like ever. Did you have a hand in the production of Warrior?
I think we all did.
Okay.
Charlie was really responsible. I recorded my drum tracks. We all worked on the arrangements together. And, Charlie and I guess, basically did the album, but everybody had a hand in it. Everybody, we were all involved in it.
That's
So,
cool. That's cool. Now, these days, obviously, you want to be able to support your new music. I don't even know. I mean, when you put out Brotherhood of Metal with the Rods, did you even really have a chance to support that as much as you guys wanted to? Or did you have dates
not
that
at
you had to
all.
cancel? Yeah.
We had a date headlining in Chicago last weekend, Saturday night, canceled. So,
God.
Legions of Metal. Hopefully, it will be in September,
Okay.
but who knows? We've had dates that are canceled. We couldn't do anything in Europe. It just is the way it is. That's why these things are so important, because how else are people going to find out about the band and the music? And especially for Canedy being a very new band.
Right. Right. Now, I was just talking, I've been speaking with musicians all week. Yeah, it's amazing how available you guys become when you can't tour,
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
all quarantined and it's like, for some people it's a curse, but for others like me, it's a blessing because it's like, what else are you going to do? You can't tell me you're too busy because you have other stuff going on because I know you're home just like me. So I might as well talk about
Exactly.
it. But I know some guys, they're spread out. So it's like it's hard for them to really be together unless they're touring anyway. But But for the guys that are closer together, and I mean, at least one of the bands I'll just mention because I've been watching their live streams, like, for the last few weeks. Clutch. I love Clutch. Neil Fallon, I love those guys. And I think it's really cool that they all get together because they're all, local guys, within their own proximity, and they're doing live streams and stuff like that. Now, because you and Tony and the other guys, because you guys live in close proximity, is there any chance maybe that we might see Canedy do some live streaming of, your new music?
Funny you mentioned that. We're actually doing the photo shoot for the album cover tonight, and we're also rehearsing. So this will be our first rehearsal, and we do have, I can't share the news yet, but it will be announced soon. We are going to do a virtual concert. So we're excited about that.
Very cool. Well, hey, I mean, you got the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well use it.
Yes, that's right, because we're not going on the road anywhere anytime soon. So
that being said, on a more personal level, how have you been handling, the social distancing and, everything going on with this pandemic?
I've been doing okay. I think what saved me the first few weeks was working on the Canedy release. I spent hours, like 8 and 10 hours a day at my computer, just working on websites and content and so on. So it kept me very busy, and now I'm feeling more freedom. I was getting a little too locked down, but now I'm feeling more freedom, but I try to stay as safe as possible. Everybody's doing well in the house. There are no issues here. And so overall, when it gets a little too freaky for me, I just go for a drive, or I'll go to Walmart or something and with gloves and a mask and run through quickly and get what I need and then come home.
Well, you certainly live in a gorgeous area, in terms of getting out and just going for a ride. I love it out in your neck of the woods, man. It's beautiful.
It is
out
beautiful
there.
Here. It's no doubt.
Yeah, we got a cabin up in that area that we usually go hunting at. Yes, everybody, I'm a hunter. Don't hate me, okay? I'm a meaty guy. I'm not a vegan. I know. I probably just ostracized half the audience.
Here come the emails. I hear it now. You're clicking right now.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Everyone's hating on it until all of a sudden they can't get meat anymore, and now all of a sudden I'm their best friend, I know Uncle Ted, the Nuge, would have some news for everybody,
He's probably dialing in right now to congratulate you for having the balls to say it.
You came out, man. You came out. Yay!
I'm proud of you, a meat eater.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I was born and raised that way, But up there, Lehigh Valley, Scranton, Wilkesboro, love it up there. So you're handling this thing all in stride. How about the rest of the guys in Canedy? They all doing all right?
Everybody's doing well. A couple of the guys are actually working, and so everybody's staying sane. We're surviving.
Good.
It'll be good to get together tonight and play. I haven't played music with other guys in forever, so
you guys should stream it.
Yeah, maybe we will stream something. We'll see.
Just set up a phone, stick it on a tripod or something, go Facebook Live. You would be amazed, Carl. I mean, well, maybe you wouldn't, but I mean, you've got a huge fan base out there that I'm sure if you were out, jamming, people could tune in and see you guys play. Just a little jam session.
Right.
It's pretty cool, man.
I'll have to think about it.
Food for thought. Thank you so much for joining us on Rock Titan Live today, Carl. And just one thing I want to ask you, because obviously we're talking about Canedy and we're talking about Warrior. Everybody, go check it out. As far as the rods go, I know you guys just put out Brotherhood of Metal last year and whatnot, but there had been a little bit of gap between music releases from the rods. Are you guys looking to maybe continue doing something on a more frequent?
Yes, we actually are. David and I have been working on. I think we have 4 tracks. He has a new track, and I have a bunch of ideas that I've written on guitar that I'm going to submit. So we've been working. I think we're about 4 songs, 4 ideas toward the next album. So, we're working. We're going to use the time wisely, and I bought a portable rig so that we can all start recording at David's studio, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're moving forward. We're not going to let another 6 years go by. We don't have that time. I'll be so old by then that who knows? I don't even know what an album was.
That's great. Yeah, you still got your hair, man. I don't have any. So don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. You got
I've
all
got
your.
2 hairs left. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Well, all right. So before I let you go here, any parting thoughts you'd like to share with all of your
I
millions of fans that you have out there?
I always say, first of all, it's CanedyBand.com, and it's CANEDY band.com. So don't go to a K kind of thing. CANEDY band.com. And, you can listen to the album, you can buy a t shirt, you can buy a download, you can send us messages, join the fan club, mailing list, whatever you like. And I always say this, and hopefully it doesn't happen, at least while I'm performing, and that's that a meet and greet for money occurs. I always like to meet people. I've made so many great friends around the world because they've come up and talked to me, and I love meeting people. So if we ever get to a live gig situation and you want to come and say hi, please do. I welcome it, and always look forward to meeting new people. So don't be afraid, and I won't ask you for money if you come up and ask you for a picture or an autograph. There will be no charge.
Right on, right on. You know what? On that note, just because you brought that up, okay, and then I'll let you go. But you just touched on the meet and greet. I'm going to give a friend of mine a frivolous plug. So Anthony Citronelli, this one's for you, buddy. Aunt C, this one's for you. Meat Hook. Are you familiar with Meat Hook?
Only the
Carl?
name. Yeah, no, only the name.
Okay, yeah, MEETHOOK. It's a virtual meet and greet. You can go
Hmm.
out there, you sign up, and for you, oh my God, I mean, it would be amazing. I mean, how many drummers, how many music lovers, just people in general would love to go out there and have an exclusive 15 minutes to a half an hour with the legendary Carl Kennedy? I would venture to guess there's probably a lot. Go out, Meet Hook. Meet Hook would be a great way for you to continue doing that, especially now, because you can't be
Hmm.
meeting people in person,
I'll check it out.
but you can
Hmm.
still interact with your fans. So I'll message that to you. I'll make sure you have that. That's very cool.
Right.
But again, everybody, we are here with the iconic, legendary drummer Carl Kennedy. Make sure you go check out, the new album for the Canedy band, Warrior. And if you haven't already gone out and checked out the Rod's last album that just came out last year, Brotherhood of Metal, awesome stuff, man, awesome. And Carl, awesome
Hey,
catching up with you again,
yeah,
man.
thanks, Scott. Thanks for the support. Obviously, it means so much more because this is the only way to get the word out. So thank you so much. Kennedy and the Rods, we really thank you for the support. It
You
means a
got it, my
lot.
friend. You got it, my friend. And please continue to stay safe, stay healthy. And that goes for everyone out there. Be responsible. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wear a mask if you got to do that stuff. But everyone just be safe and rational and reasonable so we can all get back to living a normal life and see Mr. Kennedy live in person. We want to have concerts again. We want to go out and catch these guys on tour. So the sooner we get back to life, the sooner we can do these
Yeah.
things. You know?
Amen.
Oh, man. All right. Well, everybody, I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Live. We're out.